Today we're going to talk about utilizing PD Playlist and Transfer Credit Manager. I am going to be presenting today. My name is Donna Curry, and I am the NCEES Product Manager. With me today, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat. I do have Jennifer Bass, and Jennifer Bass is our educator for standards and evaluations. If you have any questions about NCEES policy or like how to give feedback or who gets what type of plans, Jennifer is that person. Cami still supports me in these meetings. Cami was the previous NCEES product manager, and so I still depend on her for some questions. So I am going to kind of go back to the chat and just share the presentation so you have access to that. Go back and copy that if you would like to join. So there is the link to the presentation in the chat. If at any questions you have, anytime during the presentation you have questions, please feel free to ask those questions and they will be answered in the chat. So the link to the presentation, like I said, is there. Excuse me, I went too far. So we're going to talk about PD Playlist today, and we're going to talk about Transfer Credit Manager, and I'm going to share some resources with you. If you happen to be at the Digital Leaders Exchange last week, these were covered at last week's session. So if you were there and you just want to have a recap, you'll get to hear it again. And if you weren't able to attend in person, you'll get to hear that today. So once again, today we're going to talk about PD Playlist, Transfer Credit Manager, and we're going to share resources. I'm going to cut my camera off because that does help with bandwidth sometimes. I'm just going to cut that off, maybe. So what are PD Playlists in NCEES? So PD Playlist is a professional development feature. It allows you to take courses that are already created in NCEES, or if you use NCEES for your PD office, you can include courses from there, and you can make a targeted list based on maybe your staff's, what they're teaching, maybe based on their role, and it's just a way to keep up with that list of targeted professional development opportunities. And you can track that by who's done what by looking at a nice dashboard. This is a sample of a PD Playlist dashboard. So you can see this particular PD Playlist was assigned to 4 different people. You can see all of the courses that were assigned at the top. Anything that is a required course is denoted by the asterisk. You can also have elective courses in this playlist. So maybe you assign 2 courses and they can pick and choose between the 2, but that would also show up here. And then you can see who did these courses, who has completed those, who has not started, or you would even see who's in progress. So it's just a nice little dashboard that you can see this. You also have the option to issue a certificate at the end, and you can see like these 2 participants from this sample, they received their certificate, and you can see what day. So this is why, or what you would see if you did do a playlist at the end, that dashboard that you can manage. So there's certain roles that you would have in a PD playlist. So and the primary audience of this would be maybe a district administrator. You could have a PD playlist monitor, a moderator, a curator, and a PD playlist credit approver. So you will see here we have help guides for just about everything in NCEES. So the things I'm going to be showing you today, after today, if you would like to click on this help guide to guide you through this PD playlist, you can do that. It is attached here. So some roles that we're going to have when we talk about PD playlists is we have the moderator. So the PD playlist moderator, this person's role is responsible for creating and managing the PD playlist. They can add participants, they add courses, they manage notifications, and they can moderate a discussion board if you enable that. You can also have a PD playlist curator, and the curator's job is to help with the participants of the course. They can add or remove participants, but they can't edit the playlist or anything like that, but they can help with the attendance in that course. You can also have the role of a PD playlist credit approver. If you were to have a PD playlist and you wanted to give extra credit, if they completed the entire playlist, that person's job will be to approve that role. And then the PD playlist participant, this is the person who is actually enrolled in this playlist, and they have to complete these tasks. As you're making a PD playlist, you do have the option to make courses, like I said, required, and you'll see that it's color-coded in that really dark blue, or you can make courses elective. And as you look at courses, you will see that they are green. And you can even set up rules how many of those elective courses have to be finished. So these are some things you'll see as you're setting up. But let's go back to these roles. So the PD playlist monitor, the very first moderator that you have for your district, I would have to set that up. So DPI does have to set that up. PD playlist moderators do not have to be connected to any other type of PD office. This can be any role that's in NCEES. It can be any user level. And this person will be responsible for adding courses, adding participants, managing those notifications, moderating discussions. So maybe you have a lead math teacher at your school and you want them to help you with courses that might help that math teacher. Or maybe you have electives at your school or something, and you would like for them to have access to that. And so any person who is in a role that you choose to be a lead role to help manage that playlist can do that. Once again, they do not have to have any other leadership roles or advanced features in NCEES other than the role of PD playlist moderator. It doesn't show them any observations or evaluations or anything like that. You also can have, like I said, a curator. So if you have a large staff and you need help managing the attendance roster, that person would be able to help you with that. And the moderator can add the curator. So after the first moderator is added by DPI, then they can add additional moderators, and they can also add a curator. And then, like I said, that PD playlist credit approver, that is the person who can approve the final playlist if you want to have that role, or if you want to allow them to approve the option for extra credit for completing a playlist, you can do that as well. And that role is another role that has to be set by DPI. And I'll share with you later on how you would actually allow that to be set. And then you actually have the participants at the end. So these are the people who are at your location, and they are the ones who are completing this list. They are the ones who are participating in the discussions. They're viewing the courses, and they are finishing that. So you also have the PD playlist participant. So let's go ahead and look at how you create a PD playlist. If you have not had this enabled before, you won't be able to follow along. But if after today's session, this is something you would like, I'll show you how to request this right. So when you go into PD playlist, you do have your PD playlist dashboard. So like I said, if you don't see this in NCEES, this has not been enabled for you yet. So I'm going to go to that PD playlist, and we're going to actually create a playlist. I'm going to show you all of these steps that are on that dashboard. So I'm going to come back here into PowerSchool. I do have the option to see PD playlist. I'm going to click on PD playlist. And you're going to see here, I might have a playlist already, but I'm going to create a new one because I'm going to show you how this gets here. So I'm going to create a PD playlist in the upper right-hand corner. Think about the name that you're going to give this PD playlist, because at the end of this, and when someone finishes, they do have the option to print a certificate. So you're going to want to make sure that you call this something or have the correct capitalization, punctuation, or whatever. So when they get their certificate, it says exactly what you want it to say and what you want to appear on that certificate. I'm just putting a date so I don't forget to delete it after today's session. So I'm just going to call this sample playlist February 8th, but you would actually want to call it like Math Teacher Cohort 1 or whatever you are assigning this playlist to. First thing you get to do is create and make sure that title is what you need it to be to appear. Anything with an asterisk is a required field. So I can give a description, and maybe I want to say all in this role at my school, but you can give it, give it a description, give them some details, and then you can choose. Now, remember, a playlist has multiple courses that are offered. So you're going to want to give them a little bit of time to complete this. So maybe I want this to start next week, and maybe I want all of these courses finished by the end of April. So just decide how long you would like for them to start on this playlist and finish this playlist. And most of the time, this playlist is not included in the course catalog, because usually these are very targeted and very specific to a group of people. You can include it in your catalog if you like, but most of the time people like to personally invite these attendees because, like I said, they are usually targeted to a certain group of people. If you want that certificate at the end, you just click Enable Certificate, and then that certificate will come to them when they are finished with the course. You don't have to do anything extra once the people are in the course. You can see here that the first moderator was assigned by DPI, but then after that, you can add additional moderators to help you with this course. And you can add curators. Remember, the only role of the curator is to help manage participants, but the moderator can help add courses, help with the discussion boards and things of that nature. You can attach material files. If you see the question mark, it'll give you specifics. So you can attach files, but you can't exceed 20 megabytes. So anytime you see a question mark, cover over, it'll give you specifics. And then you can actually allow extra credit. So there participants are already going to get credit for each course. So whatever each course is set up for in NCEES, so if it's 0.1 CUs, they're going to get the 0.1. If it's 0.3, they're going to get the 0.3. But if you want to add an extra incentive for completing the whole playlist, you can allow, as the moderator, you can go ahead and say, okay, if they complete all of this, I want them to get an extra 0.1 for completing this, and you can give them extra credit. And so you can do that if you would like. And then when you're happy with this information, you can click Save. So now that I've done the minor details of, or the main page of my details, so I've got a title, I've got a description, I've got a start and end date. I'm going to skip participants for now, but let's go look for some courses. So this is where you can see all courses that you have access to in NCEES. If you use PD Office in NCEES, and you're going to have additional courses that you have created. But then you can also search for courses that are already in NCEES. So you're going to go to Add Courses. And then you're going to see here that you can search for courses that are already in NCEES. Excuse me. We have 162 courses already listed. But you can come in here and you can specifically choose what courses you would like. So maybe I want something on SchoolNet. Maybe I want to connect with today's learners, another SchoolNet, and maybe copyright. You can pick and choose the courses that you'd like. So I'm just going to pick those 4. If you already know the courses, usually before you have done your playlist, you've already searched for these courses through the professional development tab, where you can see the descriptions and things of that nature. You can go, like I said, look at the rest. And you can actually search for a course if you would just like to search. So you can search and find courses that you know are beneficial to people in this role. Once you've chosen all the courses you like, you can click the word Add. And you'll see up here that it says Courses Added. And then I'm just going to go back to View My Courses. I'm just going to kind of follow those breadcrumbs back. The courses automatically default to be a required course. So maybe I want these first 4 to be required, or first 2 to be required, and then I'm going to let the last 2 be elective. So I want everybody to do collaboration with SchoolNet. I want everybody to do connection with today's learners, but then I'm going to give them some choice, and you can decide out of those elective courses how many you would like for them to complete. So I'm going to say, okay, I want them to complete one of the 2. So I know by the time they finish with this playlist, they have completed at least 3 courses. And you can pick and choose as many as you'd like. If you found a course you change your mind on, you can remove it. But this is how you would just toggle over that you would like for them to be required, or you'd like for them to be elective. This little icon right here means this is a self-paced course. The other icon that you might see would be instructor-led. This is an option you can have. You can allow participants to add to courses. Usually you would not want to allow this because, like I said, usually this is very targeted, and you would not want to allow participants to add. So, but that is up to you. If you would like to add that, you can. But like I said, usually this is very targeted instruction. After you have chosen your courses, I'm going to go to discussion, and you can decide if you would like to enable a discussion board. If you would like to create a thread or something for them to discuss. And remember, as moderator, you do have the option to go in here and see these topics. You can just create a new thread. New thread will be created. So you can just select one. You can make it general, and then you just give it a title. So this is going to be discussion 1. You can attach anything you would like here, add your comments. Oh, excuse me. I'll make it general. I do need to do that. And then I'm going to post this. So now you can see that I will have a discussion board that is enabled that they can discuss. And like I said, as moderator, you can manage that, and you can go in and discuss and see what's going on. Also, as moderator, you do have the option to go ahead and notify participants when they are added to this PD playlist, and you can send messages. I do recommend not just to do email and targeted because not all emails in NCEES are correct. So if you do email and targeted, if for some reason their email is not correct in NCEES, it will appear in this little envelope at the top, and it'll give them a notice that they have a message here. And then you can decide if you want this to come from no reply or if you want it to come from the PD playlist moderator. So you can decide how you would like for that to come. And then you can tell them congratulations, or you've been added to this playlist. You can give some details, and then you can send that to participants when they are added. You would just need to fill out everything that has an asterisk. In addition to letting them know when they've been added, you can also send a message to participants when they have completed this. So congratulations, you've completed this PD playlist, give them some details, go ahead and have that message targeted. And once again, you can decide if you want that to go email or target. I do recommend both, and who you would like for that to come from. So, and then once you have all of the information here, you can just save that, and they're going to get that notification. After you have participants here, you're going to see these are the 4 courses that I picked. You can see here, these 2 have asterisks, and then you can see these 2 do not. Remember, they did have to complete one of the 2 elective courses. So this is my dashboard, and then everybody that I add, it will look very similar to that picture I showed you before. But now my last step is to add participants. So I've got everything set up. I've got my details. I've got my courses. I've enabled a discussion board if I would like. I have notifications set up if I would like. And you know where your dashboard is going to be. I do not allow participants to invite others. Once again, this is usually very targeted, and I don't want them to have the option to do that. Usually if it's targeted, I don't want my participants to withdraw from the PD playlist, but that's up to you. And you can decide whether you want participants to see each other's name in the list or not. So you can choose if you would like to hide that. So I'm not going to search any names yet because there's no names in my list. Searching names is just going to show names that are already in the list. I need to go over here to edit participants, and I need to go and I need to find those participants. You can add participants a couple different ways. The first way is you can do a dynamic role. And if you have staff groups created in NCEES, you can add a staff group. So maybe you have a BT list in NCEES as a staff group, or maybe you have your math teachers as a staff group. If you have a staff group, you can add them here. And then if you go back and edit your staff group later, then they will automatically be added to this PD playlist. You can also come in here and you can narrow this down by site, demographics, admin type, current staff position, role. These are things that are going to be coming in from staff UID. So if you have roles and all that are coming in through staff UID and you want them to go ahead and be added, you can do that as well. I don't know why you would include an active user, or you can just narrow this down and say, okay, I want everybody in my site. This year, our school's focus is classroom management. Everybody's going to focus on that. And you can go ahead and say, okay, everybody at your site coming in from this point forward is going to be added to this playlist. Or like I said, you can come in here and drill this down by demographics and maybe I don't know, site. But you can decide how you would like for this to come in. Maybe you want all of your instructional staff to be on this PD playlist. But you can look at all of these different options and decide if you would like for that to be a dynamic role. And then from this point forward, if anybody comes into your school that you have access to who is instructional, they'll automatically be added. So you wouldn't have to add them later. Or you can just manually add people to the list. So if you click Add Members, you can add a user one at a time, and then you would search there. Give it a second to load. These are the people that I can see in my school, so you could check them, or you could just search by their name. So these are going to be people that you have access to in NCEES. So you could add them, you can search their name, or you can come in here and you can do use Add Learner Advanced. You can add them by their email address, or you can add them by their employee ID. So there's UID number, and then you can decide if you want that information separated by comma or new line. So if you already have all of your staff on a spreadsheet, you just want to go copy that information, you can copy paste this here, then you can preview, and then you can add people to your list. So this is another way that you can add people to that list. So just different ways of getting people in that PD playlist. And the main thing that I just don't want you to forget is that after you have all of this details, you have all of your participants, you have everything completed, don't forget to release this. So when you release it, then they can start on this course. Um, all of those things that I just showed you. So I just make sure I didn't miss anything. So we did go to the details tab. We entered the start date, the end date, deciding once again if you want it to be included in the course catalog. If you want that certificate, make sure that the title of the PD playlist is appropriate with capitalization and punctuation, because that's what that certificate's going to look like. Remember, you can add those moderators and curators. Remember, I do need to add the first moderator for you, but then after that, you can add additional moderators and curators. Moderator, remember, they do all of the courses. They can add the people. They can manage the discussion boards, and curators just manage the people. Remember, as you add materials, just make sure that you do not exceed 20 megabytes, because that is a limit that you can have. And this is just some sample course lists you might have. Once again, you probably already looked at those courses ahead of time. You've gone to the NCEES tab for professional learning, and you've gone ahead and looked at the descriptions to make those courses are relevant to this list. And then as you have the courses finished, remember, you decided if you wanted these courses to be elective or if you wanted these courses to be required. And then just the different ways that you can add your participants. Remember, dynamically is if anybody comes in from that role after you've created this list, they'll automatically be added. But if you add manually, if anybody comes in later, you'll have to go in and manually add those to the list. And remember, you can do those discussion board topics. So that is an option that you can add if you would like, but it's not required. And then those notifications, and I do recommend doing email and targeted so you make sure that you meet the needs of all of your people there. And just don't forget to click the release when you are done. And like I showed you in the beginning, just to show you again, any of those courses that you created, they're going to appear on that dashboard. So as your participants are going through this course, you can look and see who's at what place, what courses they have finished, and then you can see when they've actually completed that entire playlist. If you would like for these roles to be added, if this is something you're interested in, whoever submits ServiceNow tickets for your district can submit a ServiceNow ticket. They can ask for a PD playlist moderator and a PD playlist approver. Remember, you only need to ask for one moderator. After that, you can assign more. And this role can be open for any type user in NCEES that does not open it up so you see any identifiable information for observations or evaluations that you shouldn't. You're just managing that playlist. So whoever opens tickets for your district would need to do that. And this is the site they would go to. Remember, they do log in with their NCID. If you're not certain who does this, your NCEES district administrator should be able to help you with that. So I haven't seen any questions in the chat for PD playlist. So if you have any questions, like I said, please feel free to add those. But if there are no questions about that, we're going to continue to Transfer Credit Manager. So Transfer Credit Manager, this is a way to manage courses that are taken outside of NCEES. So maybe you have courses that are taken through graduate level courses that are taken at colleges, or maybe you have a group of teachers who went to NCAT, or you have a group of teachers who went to the Friday Institute to do some additional type of training. This is a way to get credit onto your NCEES transcript that is taken outside of NCEES. It's Transfer Credit Manager. We do like for you to verify before you use this that your district does have someone in place to approve these credits, because if there's no one in place to approve these credits, they just kind of sit out there and nobody's notified that they have been submitted and that someone needs to approve them. So we do say before using this page, verify with your district that you have a Transfer Credit Manager, a Transfer Credit Approver. If not, like I said, they just sit out there and nobody knows to go check those. So this is great for schools who are trying to figure out how to manage those credits that are being taken outside, and you don't have another third party that's doing that for you. So remember that this is for teacher support staff. Anybody can go to Transfer Credit Manager and submit a request. There does have to be someone there who can approve that. And at the end, I'll show you what rights to request again, just like I did for PD playlist, how to request these rights at the end. So navigating Transfer Credit Manager, once again, there is a PD playlist over a help guide for that, for Transfer Credit Manager, that will show you all of the steps that I'm going to show you today and some activities that you're going to have to do. So you can manage a request. That means that once something is put into Transfer Credit Manager, someone does have to approve or deny for those credits to show up on your NCEES transcript. There's also the option to do bulk requests. So maybe your principal takes a group of 10 teachers to an event and they all got certificates at that event. Your principal can request this for all of you and go ahead and upload your certificates. So one thing that you don't get through Transfer Credit Manager, on your transcript, there is not going to be another certificate given, because you already have some type of proof that you attended this event or you got credit for this activity. So you already have a certificate or some type of documentation to show that you did this. So you're not going to be given another certificate like you would for other activities or other credits taken in NCEES. So like I said, you can attend an event. You can have a principal takes a group of 10. He can upload credit for all of you or request that credit. Someone would have to approve. You can request credit for yourself. Sometimes you can request credit for another person if you're the admin, right? So if you just want to be the one who submits that documentation, you can do that. We do ask that you not touch the configure email section. That's for DPI only. And then the different roles that you can have. And we're going to talk about those different roles. So who has the option to look and approve Transfer Credit Manager things that are submitted? Well, you can have a role of a Transfer Credit Manager Administrator, and this can be any user rights within NCEES who is given this role, and this person does have the right to add requests for other users. They can bulk upload requests for other people, and then they can approve rights. The difference between this and the second role we're going to talk about, Transfer Credit Approver, who is only a site or district administrator, the person who is the Transfer Credit Manager Administrator does not automatically get that first email to let them know someone submitted that credit. So I was in a previous district where we did use Transfer Credit Manager Administrator. That was my role, but I was not a site or district administrator. So when people in our district submitted, I had a Google form, and they would tell me that they did submit something for me to go in and check it. So I would add myself to their request as an approver. It was just one extra step that they did complete a Google form to let me know they have submitted. If this role is given to someone who is already a site or district administrator, then they're automatically going to get an email letting them know that someone did submit credit. So those are the two roles who would approve or deny Transfer Credit Manager. And once again, at the end, I'll show you how you submit for that. If you're in that second role as a site or district administrator, the first time someone submits a request, you're going to get an email saying that there's a pending credit submitted request. If that person denies or approves that, the person who submitted that request will get an email saying it was either denied or approved. And if it was denied, usually the person can go back in and maybe it was some small error. Maybe they forgot to attach their certificate that they already had, but they would get the emails back and forth. Like I said, if you are in this role, you're not going to get that first email until you add yourself as that Transfer Credit Manager approval for that request. And then once you add yourself, if you do deny something, they submit again, you would be on that request to get those emails. So let's go ahead and look at what that might look like. So in NCEES, you do have a tab that says Transfer Credit Manager. And you can see this person right here just has the option to create a new request. You can see this looks a little different. This person, so this just says create a new request. This one says create bulk request, and then you can see there's some additional features over here on the side. So this is someone who has the option to create requests for multiple people. Once again, that would be the principal who went to an event and they want to request training for, 10 people or whatever. So as we create the request, I'm going to show you what that does look like. So I'm going to come back to NCEES to the live site, and I'm going to go to Transfer Credit Manager. You'll see that there is this note to make sure that you do verify that someone in your district has the rights to approve. I'm going to go to my request, which is what someone would see who doesn't have the additional rights. Then I'm going to go to create new request. Now you'll notice anything with an asterisk is a required field. So you're going to have in here, so this is going to be event number one, whatever you're going to, whatever you attended, whatever you did, maybe you attended an event, maybe you completed a graduate level course, whatever you did, you would want to add this. And then you're going to want to give as much description as you can about what you're requesting this credit for. You'll notice as I type things, it'll come up here and say approved. So anything with an asterisk is required. You would not upload something here until after the event has happened. So maybe this was an event you went to, the last week, full week of January. And so maybe I attended it the 29th or the 1st. You would not put a date in the future here because you're not going to submit something here until after it's finished. Then you're going to make sure that you have your hours. So maybe this I attended every day for 2 hours a day. So it's a total of 10 hours. And then you come down here. So remember, you have to do the hour to CEU conversion. So remember, it does take 10 hours to equal 1 CEU. So maybe what I'm requesting here is 5 academic subject area, or 0.5 academic subject area and 0.5 general. So you can put this information in here as to what you're requesting. Remember, it should add up to be a total of 10 hours equals 1 CEU. So kind of check your conversions there. You can add additional information. Now, you'll notice these additional things down here are not required. This might be something that your district decides they would like to implement. So I know in our previous district, you had to upload evidence of completion. So if you got a certificate at an event, you had to upload that. And we also had to have approval. If it was something at the school level, the principal had to approve. If it was something maybe that math teachers had to do, the head of the math department had to approve that. But we also had to upload these two. Now, this is going to be dependent on your school or your location or your district because that is not a required field. Once again, the asterisk is not there. So that's going to be determined locally and how your district would like to handle that. After you've uploaded or added everything that's required, maybe you do have to have that certificate that says how many hours and the dates, attach anything that's needed, and then you submit for credit approval. You can add additional information here as you would like. Close approve, whatever information you need, and then you click submit. So this is going to be the person who is in that transfer credit manager role might get an email, or you might need to have a Google form or something to request. If you click view approvers and there's no one there to approve that, then you know that you don't have someone in that role and it's just waiting. You can say, I do have someone here. But I am going to go down because I'm also an approver. So what does the approver see when this is submitted? Well, when the approver sees this and it is submitted, they're going to see all the information that was submitted here. So I can say, okay, this person, they attended 10 hours. They're requesting 0.5 academic subject area, 0.5 general. And I'm going to look and say, okay, does that make sense? So maybe if they had added 5 academic subject area and 5 CEUs, 5 general, I know that they did not attend for 100 hours. So you can decide what credit you give and you can approve or deny. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say I looked at their certificate and that does match what they're requesting. So just because someone requested up here does not mean you have to approve it down here. And like I said, if they messed up the CEUs and hours, you can fix that. After you have included this information, you just click approve. You can add a note if you would like. Then you can submit this. And so now this is going to appear on their transcript. So in order to see their transcript, I'm just going to go to my courses. And I'm going to go to transcript. And you can see that this was that test event, that event that I just added right here. So you can see I added it on for February 2024. You can see that they got 0.5 academic subject area, 0.5 general. You will not see a certificate attached like you will see for this course. This was a course that was taken in NCEES and had a certificate. There's no certificate here because when you're uploading something to Transfer Credit Manager, you already have proof you attended. This is just getting everything on one transcript. So just so you know the difference, you'll see all of this is not set. The only thing you do see is the title of the event, when it started and when it ended, and what type of credit it needs to be given. Once again, you do not get that certificate because it was taken outside of NCEES. This is just consolidating everything to one transcript. So let's go in here and make sure I didn't miss anything here. So I've shown you how to go in. Let's look at a bulk upload and I'll show you how to do a bulk upload. Once again, in NCEES, if this is something that you have the rights to do, and one of the rights you add, whether it be Transfer Credit Manager, Transfer Credit Approver, if you would like to do a bulk upload request, so maybe a principal took a group of people to a school and you want to add all of those people, they all attended, you can create a bulk credit request. Once again, all of the same information. You're going to do the name of the event. You're going to give a description, dates, hours, CEUs. You're going to add everything just like you did before. But the difference here is you get to go in and add your recipients. And you get to go in and pick and choose who attended this event. So anyone you have access to in NCEES will appear in this list. You can just check their names. So maybe I took these 5 people with me, or you can come in here and you can search for their name as well. And then you can also, oh, excuse me, I don't need a filter there. So you can come in, you can add these participants. And then when you're finished at the very bottom, you click Add Selected. And so now all of these people, I'm going to go back to my credit information. So now I've, assume you filled out all of this information. So this is going to be event 2 that we did on 2/8, just so I don't forget when I added it. Once again, add your description. And then I can see these participants that I chose, these 5 people that I chose. Once I submit this, if it gets approved, then it's going to be approved for all of these. And remember that you do come in and you fill out that information just like I showed you before. So maybe this was an 8-hour course. Maybe it is just for subject area. Fill in all the information that you would like. If you would like to attend a document that has everyone's certificate, you can do that. You can attach anything that's required. And then you can come down here, and if you have the role to bulk upload, you can go ahead and choose that you want this to be that 0.8 academic subject area, and then you can apply those credits. So if you have the right, you're like the approver. Once you go ahead and upload, there's no one after you to approve, then you can go ahead and give credits for everyone. Oh, I didn't do a start and end date. Then you can go ahead and add that. So maybe I wanted this event to be earlier this week. If you missed something, it'll let you know. Then I'm going to apply those credits. So now when these people log in and look at their transcript, they're actually going to see that this, oh, I thought I added a start and end date. Maybe I missed something. Oh, okay, now. Still the message from earlier. So it turns green when you know you've done it right. And now all of these are going to be on everyone's transcripts who attended that event. So principal can come in, upload for 10 people, whoever your transfer credit manager approver is, they can come in and just upload this, and you don't have to create another course or anything in NCEES, but it does combine to be on that one transcript. So all of their learning opportunities are on one transcript. Come back up here, make sure I didn't miss anything. So I've already shown you how to approve. If you're the person who already has that. If it is approved or denied, when you go in and look at your credits, you'll see a thumbs up. If it was approved, you'll see a thumbs down. If it was declined, then you could submit again if you needed to do that. If you would like to, or if you're interested in getting this for your district, you do need to request these roles to be added. And remember the rights. So the transfer credit manager administrator, that can be any user level rights. You would just have to set up an alternative way for that person to be notified that someone has submitted something. Like I said, we use a Google form. Or if you would like for that role to be somebody to be transfer credit approver, that's someone who already has site and district administrator rights, then we can be added. They can be added as well. Remember that DPI does have to set this up for you. And then this is the site where you would go to request that, and you can request this information there. So I don't see any questions in the chat about Transfer Credit Manager. If you have any questions, like I said, please feel free to add those. I do always like to show our resources that we use in NCEES. So if you would like to look at these are resources that deal with a lot with the policy side. So if you have questions, for teachers, for principals, additional support staff, central office, superintendent, these NCEES resources are going to be helpful for that. So if you've not looked at that, I do recommend checking that out. Also, if you are not a member of our NCEES Resource Hub, you're welcome to join that. And so the directions are here for going to enrolling in this course. So in order to do that, you would go to NC Ed Cloud and click on the blue canvas icon. And then on the very left, all the way at the bottom, you would go to home-based resources, and then you would click NCEES. So if you've not yet joined that, you would like to add our NCEES, be added to the NCEES admin resource hub, you're welcome to do that. Also, we have 2 more webinars this year, and this will wrap it up. So if you would like to attend either the end of the year for principals or the end of the year for teachers and staff, please feel free to sign up or share this with whoever this applies to. They are welcome to attend. If you sign up and can't attend, we will be happy to send you that recording and presentation after, but please share that with the appropriate people. If you would like to look at any of our past webinars, they are listed up here, and this one will be up here after today, after I have a chance to get the video uploaded. But any of our past webinars, you're welcome to check those out as well. There'll be recordings and the presentations. And then we also upload all of our webinars to our NCEES playlist on YouTube. So if you've not looked at that, please feel free. They go back for a couple years to see all of that information. And these are just your NCEES contact people. If you would like to know who to contact at DPI, these are your contacts. And then if you would like to verify that the contacts we have for your school are correct, you can click here and search for yours. If they're not correct, you can email home_base@dpi.nc.gov. And just a reminder, if you ever need to open a work ticket if something's not working correctly for your NCEES, or if you're having trouble, remember the person designated in your district can open that work ticket. I don't see any questions in the chat. So if you have any questions, okay, thank you for doing that. Yeah, we'll get that assigned to you. If you would like to give us feedback for today's session, we would love for you to do that. Also, if you would like a certificate for today's session, excuse me, I just meant to copy the link. I'm going to put the link to the feedback form in the chat. So if you would like to get credit for today's session, you are welcome to complete that feedback form and get credit for today's session. Or if you just like to give us feedback and you don't want to get a certificate, you can do that as well. So I'll leave this up here. You will need to know your district in order to do the feedback form. So I'm going to leave this up here for a few minutes. But I do thank you for joining us today. If you think of any questions at all after today, my contact information was at the very beginning of the presentation. You're welcome to reach out, and I'll be happy to support you.